right now on News Channel 8 Today.
It's 5:30. Our top story this morning, tracking Hurricane Matthew. The powerful Category 4 storm is packing winds of 130 miles per hour. This is a look at the storm as it churns in the Caribbean.
And the outer bands right now hammering Haiti and Jamaica. Take a look at these images. They're just coming into our newsroom of flooding in Kingston, and things are only expected to get worse.
In Cuba, they're boarding up windows and taking down signs that could blow away in Matthew's strong winds. This as U.S. military families are evacuated from the naval base at Guantanamo Bay. Good morning and welcome to News Channel 8 Today. I'm Gail Guayardo.
I'm Gene Ramirez. Everyone keeping a close eye on Hurricane Matthew to see what the powerful storm will do this morning. We want to get straight to Storm Team 8 meteorologist Lee Spann. What's going on, Lee?
Well, good morning. We did get the latest information about a half hour ago. Now, it still has winds of 130 miles per hour, which is down from the weekend when it was a Category 5 hurricane, but now it's going to push to the north at 6 miles per hour. Now, let me just kind of explain. It's going to put Jamaica on the weaker side of the storm. Yes, it's still going to be bad there, but not as bad as what we were thinking a few days ago when it was going to be a direct hit. Now, unfortunately, I'm putting the worst weather and the biggest storm surge in Haiti, where, of course, they don't need it at all as it moves north right over the Guantanamo Bay area, 120 mile per hour winds early Wednesday. Then it passes through the Bahamas and stays at this point, looks like off Florida's east coast, but again, any wiggle room in this toward the west would, of course, bring a few more impacts for us here on the west coast of Florida. Let me show you actually two of the more reliable computer models. We have the GFS and the Euro, which both are very similar through Thursday as it moves into the Atlantic and into the Bahamas. But then things begin to change. Look at Friday. The European's slower and closer to Florida. Now, the GFS quickly pulls out, but Saturday, the European's still off the Carolina coastline. So long term, there's still a lot to be figured out with this storm. Right now, 69 degrees in Brooksville, 72 in Lakeland, 73 in Apollo Beach. I do expect to bring in some heavier downpours through the afternoon, 87 degrees. And we'll talk more about the day's rainfall potential at 5:38. But first, let's check on the roadways, get you out the door this morning.
Yeah, we've got a good drive here. Our overnight construction is cleared up. We had a little bit on the Veterans Expressway. That's going. Skyway Bridge has been cleared up. Suncoast Parkway looks fantastic right now. 8-minute commute here. Also connecting with our Veterans Expressway as you continue down towards Hillsborough County. A wonderful drive without any delays. All right, let's hop over now. Take a look at that Skyway Bridge. Again, up to speed. No delays through Palmetto. Manatee County looks good. Here's a live look right at the home. That's a look at weather and traffic. Back to Gene and Gail.
All right, thank you, Leslie. Right now, Northport police will step up patrol at a charter school this morning after a threat from 2 students. News Channel 8's Mary McGuire joins us now live from Imagine Schools in Northport. So, Mary, do we know anything specific about these threats?
Well, we do know that those threats were made on Friday verbally by 2 students to do some sort of harm right here at the school's upper campus. After those threats were made, the school's principal did request that Northport police patrol the campus here on Monday to make sure that it is safe. Those 2 students have been identified and will not be in class today. The school still asked for police presence this morning to assure students, families, and staff that this campus is indeed safe, and the principal did assure them of that. Northport police say that unfortunately law enforcement has to deal with these types of threats from time to time, and that it's important for them to take each one of these threats seriously. Now, we do plan on speaking with parents and school officials here today to find out a little bit more information about those threats and how they're going to deal with this sort of situation in the future, Gail.
Sounds like a scary situation. Okay, thanks, Mary.
Happening today, a St. Petersburg motel that's been home to low-income families for years is closing for good. People who live at the Mosley Motel have just a few hours to pack everything up and get out. The building will be demolished in the coming months to make way for a new development there. News Channel 8's Ryan Hughes joins us now live from the motel this morning. And Ryan, some residents are now scrambling. They just don't have a place to go. They're looking for a new place to live.
Exactly, Gene, they are, and at this point, time's running out. This motel is supposed to be closed by 8 this morning, and some residents are making last-minute preparations to leave. Many are upset by the prospect of moving.
I think it's wrong, putting families and their children.
Resident Deanna Stafford was so upset she could barely talk to us. She and others were served eviction notices last week and must now find new homes. Real estate firm Altus Cardinal of Miami bought the property located on 34th Street North after it went into foreclosure. The new owners plan to demolish the motel and turn it into a new development. Social services have reserved space at a local shelter for those who have nowhere to go at this point. Back live this morning, sheriff's deputies and animal control officers will be at the motel this morning to help people move. Animal control will take pets that simply cannot go with their owners. So a really sad morning, Gene, for many people at the Mosley Motel. Back to you.
Yeah, tough situation for them. Ryan, thank you. Time now, 5:35 in your vote. Some big names are campaigning in Florida this week for Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, President Barack Obama, and Vice President Joe Biden. Today, the vice president will attend a rally in Sarasota, and our Jennifer Lee will sit down one-on-one with him to discuss this year's election and also the important issues surrounding it. On Wednesday, President Obama will campaign in Florida. He's scheduled to make stops at the University of South Florida and in Miami.
The presidential nominees starting the week battling over tax records.
Yeah, over the weekend, the New York Times released 3 pages of Donald Trump's 1995 tax return from an anonymous tipster. News Channel 8's Meredith Sansulo joins us now from the newsroom. And Mayor, the Clinton campaign is taking advantage of this big time.
Yeah, in the past couple of hours, the Clinton team has launched a full-scale assault online, citing that New York Times report. The tax return published by the newspaper shows Trump declared almost $1 billion in losses in 1995, and that would allow him, through the tax code, to potentially not pay any federal income tax for 18 years. Trump's campaign says he has paid hundreds of millions of dollars in taxes over the years, and the candidate tweeted Sunday that he knows the country's complex tax laws better than anyone who has ever run for president, and he's the only one who can fix them.
He's a genius. What he did was he took advantage of something that could save his enterprise, and he did something we admire in America. He came back.
Now, other news outlets point out that Hillary Clinton's tax return in 2015 shows she used the same legal process to avoid paying current taxes, although that year she noted a loss of approximately $700,000. And Gene, the Today Show will examine how all of this is going to affect the election that's coming up in just a couple of hours.
Okay, we'll be watching. I'm sure there's much more to come from this since it all broke over the weekend. Meredith, thanks.
A Burger King burglary in Lake Wales is being called an inside job. Police put the cuffs on the night shift manager, Rochelle Van. They claim she deliberately did not set the burglar alarm Saturday night when she locked up. She's accused of letting a former employee, Jennifer McDonald, use her key to get into the Burger King on Carillon Place. Police tell us McDonald took about $4,000 from the safe. All right, the time right now is 5:38 on this Monday morning. A lot going on in the tropics.
That's right. Hurricane Matthew, again, it has winds of 130 miles per hour, but the tropical storm force winds extend 200 miles out from the center of circulation, which is why they're already getting lashed in places like Jamaica and like Haiti and even into Cuba, because how far those tropical storm force winds extend. Locally, obviously not an impact on us today. We'll be in the mid-70s as you step out the door early. Then we climb up to around 84 at noon and 87 at 3 p.m., also around 87 at 4, because after that, that's when I expect the heaviest rain. So, yes, there may be a couple of showers, mostly for inland areas like Polk and Highlands County in the early afternoon. But as the storms push toward the coast, just like what happened yesterday, late in the afternoon, early evening hours, we could see some heavy downpours. Temperature-wise, check this out. We're at 87 today, which is average, and 88 Tuesday and Wednesday, but as we head into the weekend, not only do temperatures come down just slightly below average in the mid-80s, the humidity level is going to come down, and that's actually thanks to Matthew. As it heads to the north, it's going to draw in that drier air. So we'll check in now with traffic on the 8s, make sure everything's okay early on this Monday. Monday should be a nice start for everyone.
And so far
Good.
it is. It's
Good.
basically just been overnight construction out there. The accidents that we do have, they're off to the side of the roadway. Look at this, 275 Hillsborough Avenue. We're starting to see a bit more traffic out here as people start to get out of the house and head out to work, but it's a great drive southbound nonetheless. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the maps. Actually north of Sun City Center and south of Gibsonton. We do have an accident northbound I-75. It's right at Big Bend Road, but it's off to the side of the roadway. It's not tying up any lanes, and no injuries reported in that crash, so no delays. That's a look at weather and traffic on the 8s. Back to Gina Gale.
All right, Leslie, thanks. A driver who hit and killed a man crossing the road in Clearwater won't face any charges. Police believe the pedestrian is to blame. The crash happened on Gulf to Bay Boulevard near Duncan Avenue early Sunday morning. The driver of a BMW hit the 57-year-old man. Police believe that man just stumbled into traffic. And we're making calls this morning to find out more information about a boat crash during the Clearwater Superboat National Championship race. A speedboat flipped during that race, and 2 people on board were rushed to Bayfront Medical Center in St. Petersburg. We're working now to find out the latest on their conditions this morning.
A pair of baby manatees are rescued in the Florida Keys. The manatees needed help after their mom died. Wildlife experts took them to the Miami Aquarium. Look at the little guy right there. The plan is to care for the baby sea cows until they're able to fend for themselves, and then they'll be released back into the wild.
Yeah, poor babies.
Yeah. Well, a rough day for the Bucs.
Yeah, still ahead, a look at what went wrong as the Broncos ran all over the Pewter Pirates. And Kim Kardashian held up at gunpoint. Coming up, the bold Paris robbery and how her husband, Kanye West, reacted.
Plus, we are tracking Hurricane Matthew this morning as the powerful storm moves toward Haiti, Jamaica, and Cuba. It's 5:41 on this Monday morning, and you're watching News Channel 8 today.